as at the time this person has decided to contact you, how did you present yourself in terms of sales?
Okay.
Presentation now. How do you present yourself so that you become marketable in that sense?
Or educating your client is at the point when they want to buy, you may not need to talk much.
Okay.
Yeah, because with time they've been able to follow you up. They followed your content. They've seen that okay, this person is like this. This is who this person is. This is his line of business. Business owners need to be focused.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not that something you say maybe property today, tomorrow on your page you are selling makeup or hair. So you understand. So the people cannot really trust you on a particular product. So it's so important. So when people have been following you consistently, they will know what you represent. So people should know you for a brand.
Okay. So thank you. You said a lot about how you present. You mentioned that if someone has been following your content on the social media, they know exactly what you are into. You don't have much problem with presentation. Yes. But what happens when someone doesn't know you on the social media, but one way or the other, the person has decided to grant you audience to discuss your business proposals? How do you do such presentation?
Okay. Some people basically talk about their product, which at that point is not all about your product, but how your product will benefit the client or the prospect is what actually matters.
So what you're saying is that they should focus on the solution
your product or your services offers the client.
Why is that more important than the product itself?
Because that value is what they are buying.
But I thought the client used to know the features of the product.
Features that you are outlining, maybe you outline to me and it's not useful to me, I can't buy.
Okay.
So until you relate those features to the solution I need, that's when I can buy.
Awesome. Hello and welcome to the Groom to Grow project. With me here in the studio is a very good friend, an entrepreneur, and one that has achieved results in the area of real estate and is here with me. Please join me to welcome Doctor Tammy
Thank you very
Lekara.
much. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Now, sir, can you tell us what is your number one recommendation for the skill that every business owner should have?
Okay, thank you very much. So for a startup, an entrepreneur starting up business, I think the most important skill that out of every other skill that can help a person grow in business, the most important one that I usually recommend that you hold very well is selling. The skill of selling. You should be able to sell your product anytime, any day to anybody. That's the most important one, because of what use will a product be without selling it.
So thank you very much for throwing more light on the need to develop a sales skill for entrepreneurs. But I think there's more to just that. Can you discuss or tell us more about the key result areas in sales?
Okay, so the sales, like I said, is very important. Making sales is something that every business person, either you are rendering a service or you're selling a product, you need to concentrate and build more strategy to ensure that process is seamless in your company. Because without that, if you are struggling in selling or in sales, then you will be struggling in your finances, and that will not tell well on your business. So there are areas, key areas of key result areas in selling. So one of them is we have the prospecting aspect. So this
prospecting, right?
Prospecting, yeah. So this aspect is actually something that help you reach out to your potential clients, and that speaks a whole lot when it comes to selling too, because sales is a game of number and also a game of skill. So is the more people you are able to reach, or your services or your product is able to reach, the more likely for you to close out deals with those people. So you need to understand the basic strategy that you need to use to get your product to hit the market, and that's where prospecting actually comes in. So prospecting is the act of revealing or exposing your product to the audience. Okay. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Thereby you can get potential client, and
you're talking about
visibility, and this nowadays is very, very better doing that, because when we started marketing, even from the banking industry, you have to work from company to company trying to get attention of people and all of that. But nowadays, with just your Facebook account or your Facebook page, you can reach out to millions of people. So digital marketing is the in thing now. So it's one of the ways that you can hit the market to get your product out there for people to see. So that's one of the aspects of those key result areas. So where most entrepreneurs make the mistake is that when those potential clients or prospects just indicate interest, they may just start bombarding them with selling. I'm selling this, I'm selling that. No, that's not the trend. So what, after prospecting and you've gotten some number of clients or prospects, you need to nurture them. You need to nurture them by educating them on your services, on your goods or your products. So that nurturing, that education you are giving to them will actually help them to build trust, build confidence in you. I tell people that people only can buy from you when they like you and they can trust you. So until they get to that point where they like you, they can trust you, they cannot commit their resources to you. So
sorry, let me ask a question there.
Okay.
Now, are you saying that people don't buy products for the sake of the product? That they buy based on who is behind the product?
It depends on
the relationship.
It depends on the product.
Okay.
It depends on the product. We are talking about high ticket products here.
Okay.
No, for instance, if I go to the market, I don't need to know the person selling crayfish before buying.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
If I go to the supermarket, I don't need to know the owner of the supermarket before I buy. But we are looking at customer or client retention, ability in this case. So when you are, building relationship with your, client, it's something that can give you the ability to retain that particular client, build customer, loyalty
for the long term.
You understand? So educating the client or the prospect is something that can help you to maintain or retain those potential clients and making them to build confidence in your brand.
So you prospect and then you nurture them.
Okay, yeah. So while building the relationship, you identify. That's when you can know what their needs are. Okay. Do you understand? So for instance, we've been relating. I will be able to know by technical question I will be asking why relating with you. I will be able to know what really is your need. For instance, I specialize in the real estate industry. So we have basically high ticket products. So we have product that people can buy for as much as maybe 20 million, 50 million and all of that. People cannot dole out their 50 million and give to you just like that without getting to know you deeply. So product actually varies. So when people are buying products like maybe crayfish, they can buy without even caring to know who the person is. Who the person is. But when it comes to high ticket, product, people need to know the person. They need to know you, like you, and trust you to a point that they can commit their resources to you. So when you identify needs, it helps you to be able to sell better to the client. So when you, for instance, that okay, I'm an average person and my income, I can afford so product, that will tell you the kind of product to present to me. So not for you to, see someone that have the potential to buy a product maybe worth 500,000 and you are presenting a product worth about 10 million naira to the person. The person may not, patronize you because you've not taken time to study the person, income and.
So let me ask you a question there. You said you need to know your customers, right?
Yes.
Build a relationship with them before they can buy, especially high ticket products.
Not that before they can buy, so they can trust you.
Trust you.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
and that trust will bring about a long-term business relationship.
Okay. Now, you also said something that struck me. Does it mean that because you're like, if somebody does not know you well, he may not commit
there's a limit
some amount of money.
There's a limit to the kind of transaction the person will do with you.
Okay. So does it mean as you are prospecting this potential customer, does it mean that the customer can also be researching you at the background?
Of course.
Okay. So you need to have a good public image and reputation.
Let me tell you one thing. Okay, like I said, I'm in the real estate industry and basically most of my clients, I would say 80% or 85% of my clients are gotten from social media.
Wow.
Most of them I have not seen them, or it's at the point of coming to the site. That's when they will get to see me and we'll talk and all of that. So what am I saying? I have taken time to build relationship with people on my social media page.
Okay.
The other day someone chatted me from Enugu. I was like, okay, this one is not about sales, but I do post some motivational stuff on Facebook. And a lady then she had, I think, some issues with a relationship, and she just called me. So that I'm just bringing up this to tell you that people actually research about individuals.
Okay.
You know, when you are trying to present something to them, they research about who is this person. Okay. And now it's so common, they go on your social media page, and everything about you pops up. So it's so important. Like I said, most of my clients are based in the diaspora, so most of them, just by communicating, we talk, I send them maybe information about the product I sell, and I let me just tell you this story. I have a client that bought some about very vast land from me, going over 20 plots way back then. So this person, sometimes when I post, I just do a description of my product on social media. He will just peep and keep quiet. He will not say anything. I will see it, because when you put something, you will just know the people that viewed that thing. So I was just consistent. So I did something one day with my daughter about how you can buy land for your children, and for example, if you have 5 children, you can buy a plot of land for them, and with time the property will appreciate and you can get value for it. So this person had to contact, just by seeing that video alone. He has been seeing other of my posts, but that one actually struck him. So he called me, and that was how we closed that transaction. So several others. So it's so important. So your public image also matters.
Please, sorry, I want to ask this question. Now, using this example you gave, this person has been following you up until he became interested in a product that you have, which means you had other products, but one particular one became important to him. Now, as at the time this person has decided to contact you, how did you present yourself in terms of sales? Presentation now. How do you present yourself so that you become marketable in that sense?
Or educating your client is at the point when they want to buy, you may not need to talk much. Yeah, because with time they've been able to follow you up, they've followed your content, they've seen that this person is like this is who this person is, this is his line of business. Business owners need to be focused. So it's not that something you say, maybe property today, tomorrow on your page you are selling makeup or hair. So you understand, so the people cannot really trust you on a particular product. So it's so important. So when people have been following you consistently, they will know what you represent. So people should know you for a brand.
So thank you. You said a lot about how you present, or you mentioned that if someone has been following your content on the social media, they know exactly what you are into. You don't have much problem with presentation. But what happens when someone doesn't know you on the social media, but one way or the other, the person has decided to grant you audience to discuss your business proposals? How do you do such presentation?
That's also critical, because like I said, when we started selling, there wasn't any much information about social media. So we were basically, like I said, office to office, selling what our product. So and then when granted you audience, there are specific ways you should present what you are selling, and that also speaks about having your plan. So what is expected of you to talk about when you are giving audience? So some people basically talk about their product, which at that point is not all about your product, but how your product will benefit the client or the prospect is what actually matters.
So what you're saying is that they should focus on the solution
your product or your services offers the client.
Why is that more important than the product itself?
Because that value is what they are buying.
But I thought the client needs to know the features of the products.
Features that you are outlining, maybe you outline to me and it's not useful to me, I can't buy. So until you relate those features to the solution I need, that's when I can buy.
Awesome.
You understand? So they need, most salespersons need to understand that, because that is the crux of selling. Until you hit that point, nobody buys. Until you hit their emotion, nobody buys.
Until you hit their emotion.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, some people actually have a funny emotion, in the sense that their emotion tells them to object. All right.
Okay.
So how do you
Tell them on a daily basis, you don't argue with a client.
really?
So if a client says, okay, your product is bad, it's not for you to argue. So because that point when the client maybe has identify kind of some form of objection in your product, for me, I see it as a buying signal. Because if I'm able to clarify that, point, that objection very, very well, at that point the client will buy. So it's something that you need to understand and know how to handle. That also brings me to the fact that you need to be emotionally intelligent.
Really?
Yeah. So you need to understand people's emotion. You need to know how the moods of people at every given time. So some people may just be angry for no just cause, and you may not know. You just bump into the person and you start telling the person about, say, and maybe for instance land, the person will say, beg, come on, go, all these people scammers, or those kind of things. For him to even mention that there's maybe something like scamming or thereabout, that actually brings up the idea of maybe he has heard about land, or he has probably maybe been duped sometime about that kind of transaction. So if you are intelligent enough, or if you are sensitive enough, you should be able to know how to come in to actually get the mind or the emotion of that client to be calm, and you can talk to. And I can tell you, out of maybe 10 objections, if you handle that objection very carefully, you may likely close up to like 6 sales from that 10 objection.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, you just mentioned closing. I mean, how do you close? Or how can you explain the concept of closing to somebody who is just starting a business? Okay,
closing is that point where someone is willing to give his or her money to you.
Then the person should just pay now?
No, they may not just pay like that. For instance, you are selling something to me and I said, okay, this thing, what you just said now is good.
Okay.
At that point, the person has indicated interest.
Okay.
Do you understand? I think I like this thing. Those are comments they make when they are indicating interest in a particular product. So one mistake that most salespersons do is that at that point they start talking more about the product. Instead of presenting a form and say, okay sir, please, this is a form, can you fill your information here, let's reserve this product for you.
So you're saying that you need to be sensitive to know when you have broken their
when there's a buying signal.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. Because at the point where he's showing interest, he's maybe appreciating your product, that is not the time to talk much. It's a time to bring out a form. Let him take action. Do you understand? Yeah. Or something that can make him commit. So if it's something that you say, okay, this promo is ending so time, you can make an initial payment, for you to enjoy the price slash or whichever promo you are offering. So there are different ways that people actually show buying signal. That's what I want you to understand. And that point where they start showing buying signal, that's when you now exhibit your skill of closing. Do you understand? Because if you miss it, if they are interested in it and you are talking about another thing, their interest in it, maybe you may just hit one point that will just neutralize their interest, and you've lost that sales.
Finally, sir, I would like you to talk about one more thing, and that is when people say, "I'll get back to you." How should you manage that? Or is that always a good thing to hear?
Not a good thing, but for me, I think I don't take that for an answer. Okay. Because when you say you get back to me, that's when I ask you, is there a problem with probably my product, or do you have anything that we need to talk about? Because for someone to come up and say, I will get back to you, that means he's having some kind of constraint, either financially. We hear that a lot in our own industry. So people will be interested. They will even go with you to decide. They will see the property, they will appreciate it, and they will come up and say, okay, I will call you by next month. I will get back to you. So at that point, you need to understand what is really the constraint of that client. Because for him to have indicated interest and you've presented the product or the services to the person and is coming back to say, I will get back to you, that means the interest is there. But he may be having some constraint. Maybe his knowledge about that particular product is not satisfactory. So you need to do more. You need to educate him more. Or if it's money, constraint, you can say, okay, how do you intend making payment? Because when you ask question why, what is the challenge, he will be able to open up to you and say, okay, maybe the money I have now will not be enough, so I need to see how I can gather some more money. So at that point, if you have a flexible payment plan, you can present it to him and say, okay, sir, if you can commit some amount of money, you can spread the balance for so number of, and you see that the person, what you are doing, then you are providing solution to the person's challenge. And for that reason, the person will trust you more, and we want to do more business with you. And I can tell you, once you handle that question very well, you will close the sale from it.
Okay, I said that was the last question, but this one is a bonus last question. Okay, this bonus question is, when people love what you have,
okay,
all right,
okay,
and they are interested in it,
okay,
but they have the money and everything, the information, everything, you don't need to educate them, you don't need to do anything to get them to buy,
okay,
but they are still reluctant. I've seen that a lot, but people still find this reluctance somewhere that makes them to delay.
Okay.
Maybe you in your mind, you want to close the sale immediately, you want to make sure that this is wrapped up, but the person is still bringing in this kind of okay, not really an outright. The person is not saying I'll get back to you, but the person is willing to pay, but he doesn't want to do it now. And you feel like it should be now.
Okay.
How do you undo that? Is there a way you can increase the trust? Because it might be a trust thing. Is there a way you can increase the trust so that the person just, let me just do it?
Okay, that might be a personality issue.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Maybe the client wants to know you more.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But another aspect of that is, there's what we call the general market.
Okay.
And from research, it's shown that just about 3% of the audience are willing to, when they see a product, they can, dole out money and, buy that product and take. Okay. That means that those 3% are at the point of, okay, they need this particular, for it, with a pure water, selling a bottle of water or pure water. If you are not thirsty, you will not buy that pure water.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So about 3% of the people or of the general population are always ready. Okay. Understand? Are always in need of a product at every given time. Wow. Let's say you have 100 people, just about 3 out of that 100 will be interested, in a particular product and will be willing to pay the money for it as at that time and get it. Okay. You understand? Yeah. The other 10% maybe I need this thing, I don't need it. Then we have another, 20%. That one they are not interested in it, but if they are, marketed, or if they are informed, they may be, they will show interest. 60% or about 60%. Yeah, those ones are not, in fact, even if you do anything, they will not, patronize what, statistics correctly. So the issue is that most of the salespeople, they are always, competing for that 3% that is willing to pay now. Do you understand? Meanwhile, you have other, about let's say 97% that are just lying there, that need more nurturing, needs more education, need more, kind of relationship to ensure that they trust you to the point that they can, start buying from you. So until you grow from that 3% to targeting the other 97%, you can't really do well in sales. You understand? So it's so important that people need to understand this, variation in terms of needs.
So what you're saying, that the essence of selling is to increase the number of people who have interest in your product. To drive
people's desire towards your product. So when you see Coca-Cola making adverts every now and then, it's not that they enjoy spending that money, but they want to create that image in your mind. Okay. So even when you don't want to drink Coca-Cola, you just know that there's a brand known as Coca-Cola. Okay. So anytime you have the need to drink or to have soft drink, in fact, they are the first that will come straight to your mind. So that's the same thing that should happen to any salesperson. You need to build that trust to a point that if maybe you are selling land and I want to buy land now, if I want to buy, the first person that should come to my mind should be Hanson. Do Do you understand? So when you grow your visibility and trust level to that point, you see that you start making sales. Even people will just be calling you.
Talking about land buying, do you currently have properties for sale?
Yeah, we have property across Nigeria.
Okay, like which locations? Port Harcourt?
We have in Port Harcourt, we have in Lagos, we have in Abuja, we have in Ondo, several locations. Uyo, whichever.
So if someone is interested in working with you,
okay,
how can the person reach you?
Okay, that's interested in working with me.
I mean, patronizing.
Okay, yeah. So you can reach me. I have my phone number. You can reach me, because what we do is we ensure that we get, to know what the client needs, so we can profile that solution to the person. So you can reach me on my number, or maybe.
Very much. It's been a very lovely, wonderful day with Tammy Lekara. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming.
My pleasure having me here.
Thank you so much.
I'm grateful to be here.